I know what you're thinking, right? What do school closures have to do with the NBA's ratings? Well, they kind of coincide, right? Okay. So schools are going to be closing in Minneapolis in response to the upcoming decision in the Derek Chauvin trial, right? Bracing for acquittal. They're bracing for riots. They're going to be sending kids home from Wednesday to Friday for virtual learning because all that infrastructure is still there and it's fucking not going to be going away anytime soon. But just like how they're sending children home, don't worry, they're going to be in the same mode of thinking for those overgrown millionaire children as well. The same people who think that if they buy Teslas, they will be perceived as white by police officers and not unjustly shot. Yes, the NBA is warning teams of fallout from verdict and Derek Chauvin trial. This is retarded. This is functionally retarded. They're waiting for the acquittal, the conviction, whatever the fuck is going to happen. If he doesn't get the death penalty, which is not on the table whatsoever, they're going to be postponing games. Yep. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN reported on Sunday that the NBA is instructing teams to be vigilant about not only the outcome of the trial, but what could come after, which could include the league postponing games. Because millionaires in highly guarded arenas, which are for the most part empty, need to be coddled. And the more important thing is anybody really going to notice if the NBA decides that they're going to go ahead and cancel games? Or if they're going to postpone any games? If they're going to take another knee for social justice? Even though, okay, you got the whatever, Adam Toledo shooting in Chicago. Not race-based, not race-motivated whatsoever. Dante Wright in Brooklyn Center, Minneapolis, or Minnesota rather, sorry. Not race-based whatsoever. George Floyd, still trying to look for that race connection. It's just not happening. It's just the Black Lives Matter fraud front popped out because of it. That's the only race connection. It's just leftist ideologues trying to push their agenda out on everything. There's no racism to really be found, unless, of course, you're a Democrat or one of their supporters. But like I said, if the NBA plays a game in the forest, nobody's around to see it, does the game actually get played? Because what we're seeing right now, NBA ratings decline. Yeah. Oh, trust me. You take a look at ESPN right now. You take a look at any other major sports outlet, and they're going to tell you that, the ratings are actually great. You know what? We can look at this one demographic. It's like Dave Meltzer trying to parse out all the great things AEW is doing. Well, you know what? The 18 to 29 males are all the way up, but you take a look at the older demographic, and it's just fucking crazy people out there. It's the Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme with the guy fucking connecting dots, looking all strung out. But if you take a look at the actual numbers, they're all trash. It's just the world of professional sports has been infiltrated by ideologues. You took a look at what happened with the Major League Baseball, them moving the All-Star game out of Atlanta, and then immediate regret when people started to take a look. It's like, actually, Colorado's probably one of the worst places you could have moved it, but you did, so we won't talk about it anymore. And then NFL, playing the fucking Black National Anthem before everybody's game. Who knew that there was a Black National Anthem before they announced that they were going to be playing the Black National Anthem? 2 or 3% of the population. And then you got NHL just being fucking weird when there's like 3, 4, or 5 black guys playing hockey. It's not a problem right now, but they'll make it a problem because they don't want to feel left out. It's the definite 100% number 4 of the Big 4 league. And then you got NBA. Dude, they were doing pretty decently all the way through 2019, right? Raptors had won the championship, in 19 or 18? I don't know. I don't really care. Fucking Raptors stink and they've stunk forever. The game was getting softer, but more people were watching. And then it fucking exploded after the pandemic. They were the first league group, if you remember, to shut down. Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz tested positive after making a big show that he wasn't going to end up catching it, which was kind of funny, but then he just went on this big apologetic crusade. He should have just went with a joke continuously, but whatever. And then they came back and then they played the rest of their season in a bubble, and they had the Black Lives Matter banners all over the floor, and they were trying to make this big stink about it because a large black guy with a fucking faulty ticker and way too many drugs in the system ended up dying on the concrete. If I didn't specify that was Floyd, that could have been one of 300 or 400 people over the weekend, probably 3 or 4 in San Francisco alone, who fit that description. But yeah, let's get right into the numbers. As NBA ratings have declined over the current season, a new poll shows that more than 30% of Americans say that they have watched less sports over political and social justice messaging. This is a poll to begin with, and then we'll get into the actual numbers, but this is just more public perception. The last time we talked about this stuff, yeah, it was still going down, and guess what? It is still going down. The poll, which was conducted by Yahoo News, YouGov, so they should be biased towards Democrats, and they should be biased towards the left, but it's not even promising for them. Found 34.5% of respondents saying that they have watched less sports due to social justice campaigns. According to the poll, 11% of people said that they have watched more sports as a result of social justice messaging. I'm sure they definitely did. And 56.3% said they have watched the same amount. But how much were they consuming beforehand? Were they diehard fans of their sport? Probably not anybody who would respond to a YouGov poll, but you never know, right? It's kind of like that we reported on the Joe Biden approval rating, the just about 60% from the Hill. Guess who they sampled? Guess what the sample size was? 63% Democrats out of 3,000 people polled. You feel better about the mainstream media after learning that? Looking at different political party affiliations, 19% of Democrats said that they have watched less sports in light of social justice messaging, while 13.7% they have watched more. Terrific. Like, Democrats are predisposed to be watching sports anyways. They just see all of those men with high testosterone counts and they immediately get offended, or they feel threatened watching them on the screen anyways, and they just want to go back to watching whatever crap shows on television. Now I can't even cite a source. All in the Family still on? What's Archie Bunker up to? In comparison, 53% of Republicans said they have watched less sports due to social justice messaging. So, okay, just extrapolate that out, right? 74 million people voted for Trump in the 2020 election. Take half of those. Half of those people are no longer watching sports. And just 8.6% said that they have watched more. Mitt Romney and his family, I'd imagine. The poll also found that men were more likely to watch less sports as a result of social justice effort, as 37.6% said so, compared to 28% of women. According to the poll, 13% of men and 7% of women said that they have watched more sports. Really, could have just spared everybody these semantics and said 20% of women have watched more sports, but do what you got to do if you got to hit a word limit. YouGov surveyed 1,600 U.S. adults from March 22nd through the 25th and reported a margin of error of plus or minus 2.7%. So, like I said, it was a fucking massive sample size, right? Poll's finding come as TV ratings for a majority of sports, including the NBA, declined in 2020 at the start of the 2021 NBA season. Nielsen Media Research showed that the NBA viewership for nationally televised games on TNT, ABC, and ESPN was up 34% compared to the same 27-game period from last season. See, that's what the mainstream media, that's what ESPN.com, that's what they're running with. But while the league saw an increase in television viewership at the start of the season, it has since seen a decline. The 2021 NBA All-Star Game received a record low of 5.943 million viewers across two fucking networks. The two largest networks that consistently cover NBA. Ugh, TNT and TBS. That's atrocious. Okay, and that picture is emblematic as to why. Data from more recent NBA action shows a decrease in ratings and TV viewership as ESPN drew a 0.6 rating for a recent game between the Milwaukee Bucks and Philadelphia 76ers, which is not a throwaway game, okay? If this was 10 years ago, Bucks versus the 76ers, that would have been what? Elton Brand versus what, a JJ Redick-led Bucks team? I can't even remember who was on those fucking teams back then. But no, these are two of the 5 best teams in the East right now, and it drew a 0.6 rating on ESPN. Down 41% from a comparable night in 2019, the last time professional sports were relevant. The week ending on March 28th, data shows NBA TV ratings remain below 0.7. Data from 19 shows that comparable games during the same time period received a rating from 0.68 to 0.91. So they're just down across the board. Why? That's why. Leave your politics out of sports. Sports, like I've said, every time we talk about them, is an escape. That's what most people turn on. That's what most people played. That was the escape in school. Everybody looked forward to gym class. Whether you were playing dodgeball, whether you were outside playing baseball, you were constantly looking towards the opportunity to go out there to escape pushing a pencil for whatever the other 6 hours of the day was. You just wanted to run around with your friends. You just wanted to show off, show how strong you are, show how fast you are, show how great you were. Not this crap. So I don't know. I think at the end of 2020, everybody kind of thought that maybe the NBA would start to rebound back. They would try to realize that they made a colossal mistake playing in that bubble, which was perfectly emblematic of what they were thinking at the time. But no, clearly they're just fucking going to be canceling games if Chauvin gets acquitted. What does that have to do with basketball? It has nothing to do with basketball. None of those millionaires would find themselves in that situation. At least not while they're playing. Just don't look at Lamar Odom. These are just virtue signaling dickheads who don't even have a thought to rub together if they were standing side by side with one of their teammates. It's going to take a generation of new athletes to come out to push out all of these ideologues. Because what can you see there in this picture? You got one guy standing up, okay? He's still wearing the t-shirt because he has to, but he's not taking a knee. And that's as best you can hope. Fuck them all. Reform or find yourself a new audience. And it's not that easy because all of those activists that you pander to, all of the Twitter crowd which you call your opinions from and you try to make your policy decisions based on, guess what? They don't watch. They don't pay attention. They're just there for the complaining. As you can tell, I'm a fan of the National Football League. You can see off to the side, I've got my signed Baltimore Ravens helmet. Championship team in 2010. But I will not be watching a single snap. I will not be watching a single free throw. I will not be watching a single pitch of my beloved Blue Jays, even though they could very well win the World Series this year. Because professional sports is too far gone at this point. They are going to have to make a swift recovery in order to salvage even a fraction of their audience. I don't think I'm alone on this one because I can read the ratings and I'm pretty sure they can too. It's just a matter of when they're going to listen to them. And with that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.